You look at the top ticket selling fighters in this country, the top four: Anthony Joshua, you got Josh Carl, whichever it is, and Tyson Fury. They're the biggest ticket selling fighters, and these two guys have got vociferous supporters, passionate supporters. So you know the atmosphere at the venue is going to be unbelievable. It's got all the ingredients of a cauldron and of a great event. And that's what it'll be, a great event. And as I say, don't get no better than that.
And so far as the two guys are concerned, Frank, I mean, my way of looking at it, I think Josh is coming on the back of a career best win against Lee Selby, outstanding in that fight at Elland Road. And Carl showing against Luke Jackson last time out at Windsor Park that he's pretty much, on the basis of what we're looking at, pretty much back to his best.
Well, there's no doubt about that. He had a great win last time out, and Carl, I thought, it was textbook stuff, wasn't it? He did what he had to do and done it in great style. And what I liked about Josh's performance going into that fight, I don't think anybody gave him any chance, and he won that fight. He outgunned him, he outboxed him, he showed more heart. He won the fight and won it clearly, and against a guy at the time was saying one of Britain's best. Pound for pound, that's where he was in the rankings. None of the guys give him a chance. So you've got two guys who are, they're just great to watch. It's a shame there'll be a loser.
Yeah,
or maybe a draw, I don't know. But the facts of the matter is it's a really good quality fight, and it don't get no better than this. These are the fights that British boxing needs, and these are the fights that the fans need to see, because this for me is what I'm in the game for, putting on events like this.
Let's start with the champion then, with Josh coming on the back of that win against Lee Selby, which, as I say, for me was a career best performance. Did you see it that way, Josh?
To be honest with you, John, good afternoon everybody, by the way. Good afternoon, Carl. Went into that fight expecting a tough, hard-fought 12 rounds. I was expecting to be walking out there almost collapsing, having given absolutely everything. I can honestly say it didn't feel like that. I went out there and I boxed well. I boxed to instruction. But I felt like I was cruising in second gear. There were times going into the second half of the fight, I've said it many times, I sat down on a stool and, going, I think it was 7th or 8th, I said to my old fella, is it time to go up a gear? And he just wanted me to carry on doing what we're doing, just boxing him and making him look daft. And to outbox the boxer against all odds, especially when nobody was giving me a chance whatsoever, very satisfying. And I backed up everything that I'd said in the build-up and what I'd been saying over the years when me and Lee come to fight, that there'll only be one winner and that'll be me. And hell of a night, memories what'll stay with me, till the day I die. And now I've got this world title. I don't plan on giving it up anytime soon.
Did you take much persuading into taking Carl on? Because I would have thought, on paper, you could have taken easier options.
Yeah, in my own head, when Carl moved up to featherweight, all my pals says he's coming for you now, and you make jokes about it, and you look at Carl's fan base. He's got a hell of a fan base. He's a hell of a fighter. As I said yesterday in head to head, over years I've enjoyed watching Carl. I've almost been a bit of a fan when watching him in some of his fights, and as soon as he comes into your division, then you start keeping tabs on him and keeping your eye out as potential fights down the line. Obviously, after beating Lee, there is options, to have steady voluntaries, but let's have it right. There ain't no easy fight at world level because everybody wants to be where you are. Everyone's going to give absolutely everything, no matter who you fight, to try and win that world title. And I won't treat anybody with kind of the mindset of, I'm going to go in there and this is going to be a steady fight. I train my bollocks off just like I do every fight and work as hard as I can because, it means that much to me winning and going forward. But just when the talk of, the Carl fight come along, it whets the appetite. And you want to fight the best as a champion. You want to prove yourself that you're the best. I'm a world champion. I'm ranked number 2 behind Carl. and I believe I'm number one, and it's simple as that, really. The boxing fans want to see it. Boxing's thriving in this day and age now because the big fights are happening, and you know there's a few out there what still digging their heels, but you know I'm a fighting man, and I've said once I win a world title, you want to prove yourself against the best. And I don't see myself stringing it out against these defences. You know, in my head, you know, I've got a 12 to 18 month plan. I want to fight Carl, and then get myself over to America and test myself against one of them boys over there.
It's a boxing cliche, isn't it? But to kind of be regarded as a great fighter, you have to have great fights, and you have to come through against great fighters. Now, Carl, you, I think, I mean, you'd admit, I'm sure, that you fell out of love with the sport at one stage, but it's been great to see the way in which your interest and your desires been rekindled, and now on the cusp of taking a world title, maybe once again.
Yeah, I've said it. I've talked about it a lot that I wasn't enjoying boxing a couple of years ago. I was just counting down the days until retirement. But change of team. I'm now with Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis. Since I've teamed up with Frank and MTK, things seem to be going well for me, and I'm enjoying boxing again. And that's the thing. I was winning big fights and beating good opponents. I wasn't really enjoying it. Now I'm enjoying it. Now I'm training well. Now I'm training smart. I believe that right now I'm better than I've ever been. I genuinely believe that.
What's the biggest thing that's changed then? You say you fell out of love with it. Is it just the change of trainer and the change of promotion?
Just all that. I don't know. I'm just the people that I'm around. I'm just enjoying. I'm enjoying it. Enjoying everything. I'm feeling like I'm training smarter now. I'm not running myself into the ground constantly, overtraining. The way I feel like I used to. I feel like I was overtraining constantly. Just doing it differently now. I have a much smarter approach, and genuinely believe that now I'm in my prime years.
Speaking to the two of you yesterday, I mean, it was obvious that you have huge respect for each other as fighters. But just tell people how highly you rated Josh's performance against Lee Selby in taking this title.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good performance. I think he done what he had to do. He proved me wrong. I fancied Selby going into the fight like a lot of other people, and it was a good performance. I think you have to look at his game plan as well. He didn't just, people just think that Josh is going to come forward and just throw lots of shots and overwhelm people. I think the game plan that him and his team came up with was very good, but he has to carry it out and execute it. He done that to a T, and a credit to him. But I'm looking at Selby and thinking that I knew he was really struggling with the weight, and I knew he had been for a while, but I feel that fight caught up with him, and I feel that you can tell enough now that he's not coming back at super featherweight. He's making his comeback fight at lightweight. I think that tells you enough. But look, Josh had to go and do what he had to do. He won the fight. I think one of the judges had it close. It wasn't a close fight. He won the fight pretty convincingly, and credit to him. Credit to him for taking this fight, where again he could have had an easier voluntary. Again, I agree with what he's saying. There isn't really easy fights at world level, but he could have had an easier fight. And credit to him for taking this fight. I think it's a big fight for British boxing, biggest of the year for British boxing.
When you beat Santa Cruz in first time round, then losing the rematch, to be back there to have a chance of winning a world belt, how much at this stage of your career would that mean to you?
This will be the sweetest world title because I've been written off, and after the Santa Cruz defeat, people are instantly saying you're done, you're finished. I got beat by a very good fighter on an underpower performance in a close fight, and I come back. I had a fight with Horatio Garcia. I got pushed a little bit harder than a lot of people were expecting, but I just changed team. I had a short training camp. A lot of these things played a factor in that, but the last few fights against Denner and against Luke Jackson, I don't feel like I've got out of first gear. I haven't really been breathing. I just kind of done what I wanted in them fights. So I genuinely believe I'm back to my best. I understand that Josh isn't Denner or he isn't Luke Jackson. This is a tougher fight. I'm expecting a tougher fight.
In what sense?
Well, he's full of confidence at the minute. That's one thing. He's he's bigger than them guys. I think that he's stronger than them guys. He throws a lot more. His work rate is a lot more intense. I think it's going to be a much tougher fight, but I believe I'm a better fighter. I believe I'm going to prove it on the night. I feel like I've, without sounding disrespectful again, I feel like I've beaten better fighters than Josh already, and I think that's going to be the difference.
He's beaten better fighters than you, Josh. Maybe true, but you know, the guy who's never been defeated, you can only beat what's in front of you, I guess. And you'd say, I'm sure, that you're advancing and you're moving on to another level.
This is it, and this is why we have the fights. Is to, you know, end that discussion or that debate, as it were. You know, there's no point talking about it too much. We're fighting, and on December 22nd, we'll see who's the best there. And you know, Carl has mixed at world level for a long time. Obviously, two-weight world champion. Great accolades to achieve. Like, I'm just reaching my peak years now, and whereas Carl has been on that high level for some time, I feel like I'm just pushing myself onto that level, and this is the start. I feel like I'm just reaching my peak years now, and this is where I bring the best.
Where do you think that Carl is compared with the fighter of maybe 3 years ago? Do you think he's as good, or do you think he's peaked?
Listen, when over the years, he's looked very special, and I'm not going to sit here and just lick his ass too much, but you know, he has just given him credit as a fellow fighter. He's looked special at times. Going off his recent performances, is that to say? Because you know, they are, like, no disrespect to them opponents, but they're not a Santa Cruz or that kind of level. I don't think personally. Nonito Donnell, a great champion, but probably past his best. Luke Jackson had never really been to that level, so you can't really go too much off that. You know, Carl dealt with him in the way that he did. I'm not sure. Well, listen, I'm preparing for the very best Carl Frampton. You know, it's music to my ears that he's saying that the younger's back, because I know that I'm getting the very best, and I believe that he's not the kind of guy anyway to turn around and make excuses like Lee did. You know, about the weight and everything else, and you know, Lee never complained about the weight when he was beating the other guys, and then you know, ticket seller, pillar puncher Josh Warrington beats him, and then it's a massive thing that's affected him. So it's music to my ears that Carl's feeling great. He's in a good place mentally, and he's up for it, and that's what I want, because I want to test myself against the very best Carl Framptons and the very best world champions.
You've been with us at ringside, Josh, working when we've commentated on BT Sport on Carl's fights. Have you seen things? Have you seen weaknesses which you believe you're going to be able to exploit?
Yeah, listen, I'm a boxing fan, so when you know you're watching fights, I wouldn't say I sit there every night with a notepad, you know, scribbling down, but you notice things, and
that'd be sad.
Yeah, well, all right, John, calm down. But no, listen, you know, when he moved up to featherweight, you start looking at him in a little bit of a different light, as picturing yourself in there and what you do differently. And obviously I would have ringside for when he had his second fight with Leo Santa Cruz, and I've watched quite a few of his fights with you guys ringside, and you know, I think not just myself, me and the team of my dad and Nick have seen certain things, and Carl's a very smart fighter, so we'll have to come up with, you know, a few different game plans, but you know, I think we believe that we'll win the fight, and we can win the fight comfortably as well. You know, there's be a lot of energy in the fight, but you know, I think I can have the fight going the way I want it to.
Carl, can I ask the same thing to you about weaknesses that you might have seen in Josh? Because likewise, you've been at ringside watching his big fights. Have you looked at him and thought, yeah, there's things there I can exploit?
Well, I don't think there's such a thing as the perfect fighter. So everyone has weaknesses, but it's about being able to exploit them. I believe I will. I just believe that I believe we'll be able to come up with a game plan. And again, like Josh says, there'll have to be a number of game plans, because he proved in the fight against Lee Selby he's not the one-trick pony that people maybe thought he was before the Selby fight. He can box a bit too, so I'll need to come up with 1, 2, maybe 3 game plans, but we'll do whatever it takes. I'll go into this canvas, start training camp on Monday, and it'll be a 12-week camp, and we'll do whatever it takes in camp and on the night to win the fight.
Did he surprise you against Lee? That's, you know, I mean, a lot of people thought he was just going to plough forward. It was going to be all-out aggression. He showed that he got a lot more than that. A lot of the time, he was, you know, he was effectively waiting for Lee to come to him and fighting as a counter.
Yeah, no, I said that. It did surprise me, but I think the tactics that his team as well. Well, I'm sure he had a bit of input as well, but the whole team they come up with the perfect game plan. Josh carried it out obviously to a T, but I think the tactics that they employed in that night surprised people, but it showed a different side to the Josh Warrington we've seen before.
I'm sure tickets at Manchester, the Manchester Arena, what's it set out for, Frank? I mean, these are going to go fast, aren't they?
Just under 20,000 seats, as we know, and I think tickets are on sale. When is it, Ben? Wednesday.
Tickets going on sale on Wednesday.
Sale on Wednesday, yes. So they're on sale on Wednesday. And listen, the guys have taken most of the tickets with their support before you start. So if you want tickets, you better move a bit lively, because they'll be gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're both used to fighting with your passionate support on home territory. You've just come from Windsor Park. You've just come from Elland Road. Neutral territory this time. How different is that going to be? First of all, Josh.
It's exciting. For the last 4 or 5 years, I've been, fighting at Leeds. I had the home comforts, only 10 minutes away from where I live, so steady away. It's going to be nice to have a bit of a change of scenery. Obviously, 22,000, it's going to be a hell of a crowd as well. I've been over to Belfast and seen Carl's fans, and they're very passionate. They love the boxing. They show a lot of respect. Even though they slagged me suit off when I got in ring last time. It wasn't from Tesco, by the way, you cheeky fuckers. But it's one of them. It's going to be a good night. Listen, I'm not going to sit up here and do Frank's job, because I'm a fighter. But this is going to be the best fight of the year, without a doubt. You've got 2 hungry fighters wanting to prove which was the best. There's no bullshit, no fake, beef between each other. It's just 2 lads seeing who's the best, and not only that, you're gonna have a hell of an atmosphere. Carl's fans are some of the best in the world, and I believe my fans are as well. All on the same roof, and a big fight. It's just going to be a right old festive fight.
What about your thoughts about going over to the Manchester Arena and bringing the fans over from Northern Ireland, from Belfast?
I'm looking forward. Look, people, for a while, or a few years ago, I was getting criticised for never travelling. But if you look through my career, I think probably half my fights have been away from Belfast. So, and my fans travel. We brought, I think, 5,000 to Las Vegas, which was a proud moment for me to bring so many people, halfway across the world. But Manchester, right before Christmas, I think I'm still going to bring a lot of people. This is going to be an early Christmas present for them. We'll go home happy. I'll be the new champion, and it's going to be a great night.
He's the gambling favourite at this stage. I know you're not a betting man.
What's the prices?
I think you about
haven't a clue.
6-4 on something. Anybody know the exact prices on this one? I did check it up, but it's moving all the time. I know he's quoted as favourite.
Yeah, you can get 2-1 on me. So
does that surprise you, or is it what you expect?
No, listen, bookies out. They're not always right, are they? And they can't see into the future. Bloody hell, I were 4-1 or 7-2 at times against Lee. So some my pals made some right nice money. But listen, I don't go for odds. I don't go for experts. I think one at media team were telling me that when they were doing a poll before Selby fight, I think out of 70 people they asked, there were only 7 people who backed me. So all them experts and bookies odds, I don't pay no attention to them. Listen, I know what I'm capable of doing, and it's what goes on up in my head. How do they know what I'm capable of doing? They're not inside me, and it's up to me to bring that performance on the night. And in the last fight, I talked about destiny, and I believe that fight was just meant to be. I could have turned around and done moonwalk across ring and I still won. I just felt like it was that kind of night. But the way that this year is going, I just believe 2018 is my year, and I'm gonna enjoy Christmas dinner with a belt on that table still.
I agree. The bookies get it wrong all the time. But what I will say is you'll never see a skint bookie. They very, very, very rarely get it wrong. But he proved against the odds that I think, like he said, you could have got him at 4-1 to beat Selby, which were huge odds and probably silly. But I think I've got it right this time.
One of the things that struck me, having done the face-to-face interview with the two of you yesterday, which is part of the build-up for television purposes, was that as guys, never mind as fighters, but as people, there's a lot of similarities between you. Do you see that?
I think so. Both, two working class people, passionate fan bases, no real bullshit. We don't need to try and sell this fight. We don't. I think it would come across a bit fake. You know what I mean? If I respect Josh, I think he respects me. I don't think we need to push all the aggro just to sell a fight here. It's more than that. This is a big fight. There's no need for it. But we're two men who I think will give everything on the night to win the fight, and that's what makes it a good fight. I don't think there's not an ounce of quit in me. I don't think there's an ounce of quit in Josh, and that's why this is going to be a special fight.
Do you agree with that one, Josh?
Oh, listen, I just echo what he's saying there. Both come from nothing to the dizzy heights of world level. Both family men, got passionate fan bases, and yeah, it's just go in there, give it our all. And like I said yesterday, I ain't going to force like a bit of a rivalry. You've just got two fighters who are ranked there, and let's just see who's the best. And like I say, some fights need that hype. I don't think this one needs it. You've got me who's just picked up this world title. Will he carry on? Is he really at that level, or will that just look night? And is Carl? Is he still at the level that he used to be at? And that should be enough. Carl's got respect for me. I've got respect for him, and we've got 12 rounds to punch each other's head in. So I think that should be enough. Do you know what I mean?
Frank, you've been doing this for a year or two now. When you hear the two fellas speak and you look ahead to what's going to be happening on December 22nd, I mean, the overriding thing is that these are two fellas who are a real credit to boxing, and that's not every time that you can say that.
No, they're a credit to boxing and credit to themselves. And, you talk about hype. The hype of this fight is the fact you've got the two guys at the top of their game. Two guys at the top of their game who are willing to step up to the plate and make a fight that which for the fans is a joy. The fight's the hype. They haven't got to do all that rubbish, and jump in each other's face and all that crap. It's just not needed. These two guys are well respected within the sport. They're respected by their fans. The reason they got so many fans, the both of them got so many fans, because they know when they get in the ring, they give 100%. That's why they're with them. They are men of the people. They're fans associate. They can see it. When I'm in Belfast, I'm in Leeds, involved in the fights. All you hear is good things. You never hear, and you know what it's like in boxing. Someone say, "Oh, I hope he gets beat." Nobody. They're all for him, and that is, that tells you all you need. It speaks volumes for the respect that everybody has for both of them.
Sorry, John. I'll just add to that. Listen, I know it sounds like we're getting off of each other here. We are going into ring to hurt each other, and like I do draw a line at going out for a meal with him. Like I said this to him yesterday. I draw the line of going out for a meal together night before a fight. I don't want to go as far as that, but
that was after. I wouldn't have done it before.
I was done before. Sorry, I do apologise. But I'd offer to buy him a pint after. And that's it. I think in the previous build-up to the Selby fight, people seeing a different side to me against Lee. Me and Lee's rivalry went on for a while, and they did see a bit of a different demeanour from me and the way I went about the press conference and stuff. But I had reason to do that, and maybe people looked at me and thought that's our character for Josh Warrington. But I didn't care. I was just exactly. If someone's gonna slag you off, I'm not gonna sit there and take it. I'm gonna give it back. But normally it's in my character just shake a hand and get on with the fight, and that's what we're doing here on December 22nd.
Did you think your paths would ever cross at that point, and not you become champion?
Well, I wasn't that night. I probably wasn't thinking about it. I was focused on one man and one man only, and that was Leo Santa Cruz. And it was a great win. I know Patrick Hyland pretty well. I've done a bit of sparring with him. I think that was a great win for Josh. But that night I wasn't thinking about fighting him. But obviously soon after, we're in the same division. We're two British fighters. It makes sense.
Josh, would you regard Frampton as the biggest fight of your career so far?
I think every fight that the next fight put in front of you is your biggest fight. It goes without saying. I believe that when it comes to fight day for me, I don't look at that the following Monday. I don't feel like that doesn't exist until I get the next fight out of the way. Just a bit of a crazy mindset that I have that for me, just going there, I've got to win to just carry on going. So yeah, every fight's your biggest. He's certainly a big name. He's well renowned. Ring Magazine Fight of the Year and 2-weight world champion. Great CV behind him. Is he better than Lee? Well, that's a different debate. That's a different fight. But like I say, I want to test myself against the best. And Carl's ranked number 1. He's still ranked in top 4 of the world rankings. So he's one of the top fighters in the world at featherweight division.
Josh, can I ask the same question? The night of the Highland fight, were you looking at Carl thinking your paths are crossed?
Not really. I was thinking that I need to get to Taylor's and get my suit sorted because my wedding was 2 weeks after, so that was probably the only thing on my mind at the moment. But no, I think at that stage, I would, the Selby fight had been getting built up around that time. I think that were the only fight on my horizon at that moment in time. Getting Lee, and obviously you look at that as potentially coming after. But yeah, I think I won't say I was obsessed with Lee Selby, but that's the fight that I really wanted more than anything. So after that one with Ireland, I thought that maybe end of the year I'd been looking at Lee, but it wanted to be, and it didn't come until 2 years after. But yeah, I think you always keep tabs on other fighters down the line, and it's just you strive to mix yourself against them.
Were you watching that fight and thinking that's a level you at least need to reach one day?
Yeah, definitely. I think we had a good old scrap with Padjo. There was a lot of mutual respect there, and I popped that back to his hotel, and I was watching it through beer goggles. Really, I had like 3 or 4 Guinnesses, and after the fight, it's not good. It goes straight to your head. So I can only remember little bits of it, because 20 minutes later I've been sick in toilet. So, but yeah, listen, what I do remember from it was a very good fight, and obviously hell of an achievement. But yeah, listen, I thought that the Selby fight, later down the line, that's the level that I'd want to be at, and you do look at fights like that and take like bits of motivation from that.
Any more? Yeah.
Josh, so Cole's had 1 stoppage at featherweight.
Yes.
Do you think he's got the power to trouble you at the higher weight?
We'll have to see when we get in there. I think many people had said that Lee were going to blast me out in 5 rounds. I think it's it gets unnoted that I've got a decent chin. I've never been down. I said this yesterday. I've never been down in sparring or training. I've never been down in a fight. I never felt like I've been rocked or hurt. Carl puts his punches together really well and he's sharp. But does he think do I think he hurts me? Well, no. I think if you get jabbed on the nose, it's not going to be nice. But I think I can take whatever he throws at me. I think my defence is a little bit underrated as well. But that's not to say that I'm, don't have to be switched on and keep the man's eye. I don't think he's the biggest punchers of the division. But like I say, that's not to say that I'm not going to be wary of what's coming. I'll just finish saying that all them idings my dad used to give me as a kid, it's paid dividends. So that's where I get me a bit of a chin from.
I tell you what, there's a lot of fans who'll be watching this one way or another. Just before we wrap up, just tell us, both of you, how much it means to have the passionate support that you've got, and how much you feed off it and it helps you as a boxer.
Yeah, look, I've talked about my fan base and how I use it to my advantage. I think that it always adds something to my game, and people expect you to win fights. When they support you, they just expect you to win fights. So they're passionate fans, and they want you to win them, but they expect you to win them, and I use that expectation to my advantage, and the noise as well that they create, I use it to my advantage, and I think that it's going to be different this time because it's going to be split down the middle, and there's going to be noise for me, and there's going to be noise against me, but it'll just be noise on the night, and I'll use it for me.
Josh?
Yeah, I've said many times in many interviews, press conferences, I believe they're like the 12th man. You can see the difference of a football team when they're playing at home and they get a noisy crowd behind them. When I boxed in arenas, or especially the last fight at Ellen Road, the crowd were fantastic. Listen, we won't be where we are without the fans, without the paying public, and a lot of my fans I still sell tickets to. It's all I grew up with. And I appreciate all the support that I get, and they've been very, very loyal. I've got pals who've not gone to weddings and changed dates rounds on holidays and lost thousands of pounds just to be there at my fight. So, a motivation for me is when I get in the ring, I'm not just fighting for myself. I'm not just fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my fans as well. It means a lot for anyone who's coming by, and especially this one. 3 days before Christmas, it certainly is a big ask, but I've already had a hell of a response in demand for tickets, and there's going to be a fair few there on the night. So listen, just enjoy yourself and make plenty of noise. Frank
Warren's promoting it, and right to have the final word, I think.
Well, boxing fans, Christmas is coming 3 days early, and you're going to get a cracker. This is going to be the best of the best, and I promise you'll enjoy it. Be there.
Thank you very much.
Or watch it on BT pay-per-view.
Go on. Oh, shit. You're black.
It's got a bad back, Frank. Come on.
I know I did that. That's a young man's job. Is that good?